Since I announced the Kriya webinar that's coming up starting July 20th of this year, I got a number of questions about Kriya practice, Kriya Pranayama meditation techniques. And a number of the people that have contacted me have already been initiated into Kriya Yoga or already practicing. And so they were looking for ways to improve the process or to get the most out of the process. So we're going to go over that today. A few things I do want to mention first of all is that on this channel, the Kriya Yoga online channel, I've noticed that there are quite a number of views on the Kriya Yoga Pranayama techniques, which makes sense because that's what people are typically looking for. But I noticed that there were only about 1/4 to 1/8 views on the when not to practice Kriya Pranayama. So I would advise you to go back to the video, number 1, that deals with the Kriya Yoga Pranayama techniques to review that. Number 2, make sure you also watch the video when not to practice Kriya Pranayama techniques. There was a series there and they're meant to go together. So do go back and check that out. I'm not too worried about you, but to get the most out of your practice, you do want to make sure that you're doing it at appropriate times and avoiding it in times when you're not supposed to be doing it. Now, one of the things that we're going to go over in this next class that's coming up July 20th, that webinar, will be, number 1, how to practice Kriya Yoga, aside from the techniques, but the full lifestyle engagement, the philosophy of the Yoga Sutras. And so this is going to be applicable to people who are just learning, as well as to people who are already practicing, because it's always good to review. And we're going to go over some tips and some pointers in regards to how to make the best of it. And the first one that I want to encourage you to start trying is whenever you meditate or whenever you're practicing Kriya Pranayama, if you would take the tip of your tongue and touch it to the roof of your mouth. That's it. Simple. And when I do it, I touch the tip of my tongue just to the back part of my mouth, right where the soft palate begins. So if you stick the tongue up to the tip of the roof of your mouth and you slide it back a little bit, you'll eventually hit a point that seems a little softer. So just before that point, that's where you want to connect the tongue to the roof of the mouth. And one of the things that this can do is energetically, number 1, help you feel the Kriya Pranayama current, and it can help you get the most benefit from the Kriya Pranayama current. So we want to set things up so that you're more efficient within your practice. So that's number 1. Number 2, you want to, if you can, hold your awareness at the spiritual eye center, the space between the eyebrows. There's numerous reasons for this, some neurological, some astral, some yogic, they all go together. But the point being is that when you're meditating, when you're practicing the Kriya Pranayama or any kind of meditation, if you keep your attention here at the spiritual eye, that will develop the frontal lobes of the brain, that will activate the 6th chakra, which will, number 1, allow you to concentrate better, number 2, allow you to move through the inertia or the dullness that often is associated with normal consciousness. And if you have a tendency to fall asleep, by doing this, it'll help you wake up. It'll help you be more clear while you're meditating. So 2 things you want to do. Number 1, touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth during your practice. Number 2, keep your awareness at the spiritual eye center. And one thing that I like to do, I believe I've described it before on this channel, is I like to just slightly look up. So I'm not looking straight up, so I'm not rolling my eyes up into my skull. I'm just looking forward and then slightly tilting my eyes up so that it's as if it's directed at an angle upwards towards the spiritual eye center. And by doing that, that helps to focus your awareness on the spiritual eye center. Helps to focus your awareness on the frontal lobes of the brain. So, by doing this regularly, what you'll find is that you will be able to better appreciate and feel that surge of energy through the spine as you practice this meditation practice. Some people feel it very easily, some people don't, some people have to work at it. And another thing that you can do is really direct your attention to the spine. So using your imagination, using your will, as you practice the Kriya Pranayama technique, you are actively holding your attention on the spine and actively imagining that you are pulling a cool electrical current, electrical sensation up through the spine, through the neck, through the brain, to the crown of the head, and letting it flow back down easily. And you can pull it up to the crown, you can pull it up to the spiritual eye, whatever's most comfortable for you. Some people find that when they begin practice that they can't quite get it up all the way. They can't quite pull that current all the way up to the spiritual eye or the crown chakra. And that's okay. You just want to be gentle with yourself, and as you breathe in, pull that current up as far as you can. I remember when I first begun practicing, I kept getting stuck at the heart chakra. So every time I would pull that current up, I would feel it here, and then I just couldn't quite get it to go any further, as if there was something pinched off there. And in time, through gentle intention, through practice, through meditation, I began to feel it release. I began to feel it flow up into the fifth chakra center, and then the same thing happened, and then again up into the sixth chakra center, until now there's an easy dynamic flow. So take your time with this, and don't be concerned or upset if, number one, you don't feel it at first. Number two, if you can't quite pull that energy up as high as you think you should. Be gentle with yourself. Take your time, and eventually, as the months and the years go by, you will be able to feel that current, and you will be able to pull it all the way up through to the sixth chakra, to the seventh chakra. And then after you finish your Kriya Pranayama practice, you can keep your awareness stabilized in the crown chakra or in the spiritual eye center, which will allow you to most easily experience super consciousness, clarity beyond thought, and what you are beyond your name, form, your history, your past. So it's a dynamic process. There are things that you can do to make it work better. Try not to get too involved in making it more complicated than it needs to be. Some people chant mantras through the chakras as they practice, and that's one of the advanced techniques. And that's all wonderful and fine. But really, the core essence of it is, as you inhale, you are pulling that cool electrical current up through the spine, or imagining that you're doing so, holding it at the crown of the spiritual eye center, and then letting it gently flow back down. So that's the Kriya Pranayama technique, the basic mechanics of it. But again, be aware. Please go back and watch that video if you haven't already on when not to practice Kriya Pranayama on this channel. And there are actually a few spaces left in the Kriya Yoga training webinar, the 5-week webinar that will be starting July 20th. I believe there's about 5 spaces left. That filled up very quickly. So if you're interested, contact me. Go to ashevillevedicastrology.com. That's the website. And my latest post announces this class and how to participate. Make sure you read the whole post. So expand it. There'll be an option to read more. So click on that, and it'll tell you all you need to know, the dates, how long it's going to be. It'll be on Sundays, Sunday mornings for 5 weeks. And it'd be great to have you. Otherwise, if we get an overflow, maybe I'll set up a second class to accommodate that. But as it is now, we've got about 5 spots left. So enjoy the process. Take it easy. Send me your questions. Again, you can send them to astroinfo@ashevillevedicastrology.com, and you can put the subject Kriya questions. It'll be helpful for me because aside from the first book that I wrote, Kriya Yoga Continuing the Lineage of Enlightenment, I'm working on a second book. And the second book is going to cover all of the practices that I've been initiated into, all the practices that I know and teach, how to be most efficient with your practices, how to practice Kriya effectively. So it's really going to be the theory and practice of Kriya Yoga. So your questions can help guide me in regards to what to respond to. I mean, I have in my mind what I think is important. But I know that, as individualized aspects of this one infinite consciousness, we all have different questions, different life experiences. So you can help guide me in regards to what are the things that people need to know, or that people feel confounded about. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the weekend, and we'll be in touch.